Doc G here. If you've got dry and itchy skin that's driving you crazy, stick with me for 3 minutes and I'll show you some ways to get it in check and keep it that way. Welcome to Doc G in 3, your one-stop shop for medical news and information you can use. I'm Doc G. I'm board certified in family medicine, and I'd like to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right away. That way you don't miss any of the content on the channel. Today we're going to talk about winter eczema, also known as asymptotic eczema. It goes by a whole bunch of different names, but the real problem is just dry, cracked, itchy skin that just won't go away. It's particularly troublesome for older people. Young people don't really get it, but once you're up there in age a little bit, you'll notice that your skin doesn't hold moisture the way it used to. That's where the problem begins, especially in the winter months. Now, for some people, it can just be a minor inconvenience with some occasional itching and some dryness. For others, it can be almost debilitating. Itching constantly, cracking skin, bleeding, even infection. Before we go any further, I'd like to put in a little disclaimer. If you've got skin problems, something that's bothering you, itching, looks funny, you gotta go see your doctor. Don't take the information I'm giving you here as doctor's advice. I'm not your doctor. You go see your doctor to get this figured out. But if you've already been told by a medical professional that this is what you have, here's some tips on how to get it in check. Basically, there are 3 rules you want to follow when you're dealing with winter eczema. No long hot showers. You can't be taking long hot showers in the wintertime. You got to keep them cold or at least lukewarm in order to keep the oils on the skin. Otherwise, you're just washing away what little natural protection you already have on the skin and making it harder for it to heal. Number 2, use mild soaps. Surprisingly enough, the chief offenders in the soap category are the most heavily advertised. Dial, Zest, Irish Springs, these are the worst offenders, and they're the worst thing you can put on your skin in the wintertime, especially if you got eczema. Even if you don't have eczema, they tend to dry out your skin in the wintertime. What you want to use is low pH soaps. Those are soaps that are less harsh on the skin. They also kind of enhance the mechanisms that promote skin moisture. These low pH soaps are brands like Dove, Oil of Olay, Cetaphil. Those are the ones that you want to use. They also make a soap from Aveeno that is very, very effective in keeping that protective barrier on the skin. Number 3, moisturize. Can't stress this one enough. The minute you get out of the shower, you got to start slathering on some moisturizer. This locks in the moisture that's coming off the skin. If you're in a pinch, petroleum jelly is great, as long as you get it on quickly. It doesn't necessarily moisturize the skin itself, but it does provide a protective barrier to stop the moisture from drying off the skin after the shower. Other moisturizers you want to use, Aveeno makes a great moisturizer, as well as Eucerin. These are great products. They're a little bit more on the expensive side than your regular Vaseline intensive care stuff, but believe me, it's worth it if you've got this winter itch going. It helps promote the healing process, and you have to put it on twice a day. But the more important thing is that you get it on right after you get out of the shower. You follow these 3 principles, and after a couple of days, you should notice some improvement in the itching. After about a week, it should be all but gone, and you should notice that the skin has started to revitalize itself. If after a week you don't see much improvement or the itching isn't substantially decreased, it may be time to move on to something prescription strength. There are a couple of options here, but of course you have to go see your doctor for them. The first one I'd like to mention is topical steroids. These have to be used with caution. If you use them too long, they start to thin the skin. Option 2 is urea. It's a cream that you can slather on. Again, it comes from a prescription. Very effective, but more expensive. Option 3 is lacthydrin. Ammonium lactate comes in a brand name called lacthydrin. It's on the cheaper side as far as prescriptions are concerned, and it is extremely effective when used properly. Now, I've heard that there is an over-the-counter version of it called lacthydrin or amlactin, something along those lines. I've never actually seen it, but that might be a cheaper option for you if your doctor says to you, well, this prescription is going to cost you X amount of dollars. The urea, on the other hand, is $60 and up for just for a small tube. Topical steroids are notoriously cheap, but again, not as effective as the other two I just mentioned. Now, I haven't covered all the side effects of all the medications and all the treatments here, so by all means, I can't state this enough. Make sure you see a medical professional before you go ahead and start treating yourself for some kind of medical condition that you may or may not have. Don't forget to hit my subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.